Hi everyone, and welcome to Moonstone Makes. My name is Tommy. Thank you for being here. You can find me other places on the internet, like Instagram and stuff, as DynamiteTrujillo. Thanks for watching this video. I made some more stuff. This is another video about what I have knit and crocheted and dyed. There's a little bit of dyeing in the past, month or so since my last video? Keeping on track. What have you been working on? I would love to hear about it in the comments. I am wearing something that I made and that I shared in my last video. This is my triple crochet Raglan pullover. I didn't use a pattern for this. I used a tutorial that you can find in my last video, and I will do a card and you can go to the link if you want to check it out. It was a very great experience crocheting this pattern. I used a bunch of scrap yarn, and it's overall like a sport weight kind of ish thing. I used, I think, a 5mm hook. I shouldn't tell you details though, because I don't remember. If you want to know, you can check out that last video. But I love it. It's an amazing sweater. It's all triple crochet and it has bell sleeves. Hi. So, I like it and I'm wearing it. That's the point. Should we talk about what I've been making? I guess that's the whole point of this video, is I'm just going to show you everything I've been working on in the past month. And the first thing, because I like to start off with FOs, which is finished objects, I finished a pair of socks. This is a pair of socks that I've been working on for quite a while. It's a pair of stockinette socks, and this is in some Moonstone Dyeworks yarn, and in my sock base. I don't even remember the names of my bases. I haven't dyed in a while. I'm kind of on a dyeing break. But this is my Moonstone Dyeworks yarn. And this is the Dunes colorway. It's a sandy kind of gold. These are top-down socks. I cast on 64 stitches. I did a 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. And I did stockinette about here and about here. I decreased 2 stitches here, 2 stitches here to get to 60 stitches. And then I did a heel flapping gusset, which is kind of my go-to. I was doing the gusset decreases on the second sock a few days ago. Not a few days ago, I finished these a while ago. I was doing the gusset decreases on my current whip sock a few days ago. And anyway, I'm showing you the gusset now, so I'm gonna tell you about it, what I was thinking. I was just thinking about how much I love doing gusset decreases. I feel like with socks, like the big star of the show, when you're like learning how to knit socks with a heel turn and a heel flap and a gusset, teachers tend to tell their students that the heel turn is like magic. I never quite thought it was magic. I think the gusset's magic. I love doing the gusset. I don't know why. It's like my favorite part. Those gusset decreases to get back down to your original stitch count. I love it. So anyway, yeah, I did a normal, standard basic wedge toe? Square toe, round toe? I don't know the difference. It's one of the toes where you decrease at 4 points every other round until you get to the number you want. And then I did a Kitchener. I also like doing Kitchener stitch. I think it's very fun. Here's the other sock. I did finish these, I don't know, a little while ago, so I've been wearing them, and I really like them. They are serving the purpose that I wanted them to, which is a warm-toned kind of neutral sock for when I wear brown tones, like this. So that's them. Those are my socks. I love them. I finished another thing, and I'm pretty excited about this one. This is a hat. This is a hat called the Musselburgh hat, and it's a pattern by Isolde Teague, and it's this pattern that you already know probably, but it's where you cast on at the top, and then you increase for your crown, and you can use any weight of yarn and get any gauge you want, and it's a formula that way. And then you knit and you knit and you knit until you have a tube, and then you do decreases until you get to, nothing, and then you do the hat as if it was bottom up. And so you have this tube, and when you use yarn that you really love, it's a very beautiful tube, and then you turn it in on itself, and it's a double layer hat. This is my first time making one of these, and I get it. I love it. I don't want to ever knit a different hat because it's really fun and it's very wearable and I really like it. And you kind of have to, show it who's boss to really get it to work out. So it becomes reversible. So this is my favorite side. I should tell you the yarn. This is some Handspun. This is Handspun that I spun on my Ladybug, my Shocked Ladybug spinning wheel, a pretty long time ago. It was the December 2014 colorway, like from the club Fiber Club colorway from Cloud Lover Fiber. It's called Spice Cake. She, no, or they, I don't know who it was. They no longer sell their fiber or dye, whatever, under Cloud Lover. Cloud Lover is gone. But I've always loved this Handspun. It's Polworth and silk, and I really love how this hat came out. Is this my preferred side? No, this is my preferred side. My preferred side is the one with grass all over it. You probably can't tell, but there's grass all over it. So I wear it cuffed up like a beanie. This is how I wear it. Ta-da! This is my Handspun Musselburgh. I really like it. I really like the thickness. I like beanies. I don't really do the thing where I kind of wear it loose and bunchy back here. That's not me. That's not me. This is me. This is very much me. So it's super warm. It feels really good. I just like it a lot. I didn't know how I would feel about the thickness because essentially when you wear it cuffed up like this, it's like quadruple thick, but I'm super into it. It fits and it wears like one of those kind of Carhartt beanies, you know, like a very standard, like masculine sort of beanie. And that's the kind of beanie I like. And this is my new favorite hat. I really like it. So anyway, it's double-sided. This is my favorite side. And then the other side looks like this, which is also wonderful, but for me it just feels a little too like areola-ish right here with the color change. I am excited to make another one of these. I really liked it. I think it'll be fun in all kinds of different yarns. I loved using Handspun. But I also think it would be really fun using like a sock yarn, and then you can use different yarns and make it scrappy or make it reversible in the way that it's very different on both sides. I'm very excited about this pattern. Everybody loves this pattern, and it's verified that there's a good reason why everybody loves it. I verified it for you. You should make it if you haven't yet. You can also make it in thicker yarn. That could be fun too. So I then made another granny square bag. You may remember also from, I think, my last video, maybe the one before that. I think the one before that, the video before that, I made myself a granny square tote bag. And I've been using it for my purse. I made it out of a bunch of Brooklyn tweed shelter scraps, so it's all worsted weight. It was all woolen spun yarn, and it is definitely wearing over time in terms of kind of getting felty, which is okay. I knew that was going to happen. It's not like falling apart or getting holes or anything, but it's definitely getting a little felty. I guess that's just an update. But the point of that is to say that I made another one, and I made it exactly the same as my last one, except using this yarn. So first I will tell you about the yarn. It is some yarn I got from Michael's. I went on a Michael's trip and I got this yarn. And this is Karen Big Cakes. It's acrylic, and it's funny because it says right here, no wool, as if it's like a stamp of a good thing, which I'm sure it is to some people who don't like using animal fibers or whatever, but not for me, because I really like wool, and I didn't love working with this yarn. This is like your classic, you know, your grandma crocheted you a blanket when you were 2 kind of yarn. Like I don't know if you have any of those blankets, but I have a few of them. And this is that kind of acrylic. This is like your grandma, your great-grandma's acrylic. And I've never bought, or I don't think really used this type of yarn before, and I don't know, I just thought I would because it sounded fun, and I did not love the experience. It definitely brought me back to those blankets and how they feel and how they're fine, but you know, I don't know. I wouldn't buy it again for sure, and now I have this giant thing left over, but that's okay. This is the bag that I made. Oh, and it's worsted weight yarn, or as kind of the Michaels set calls it, a 3? Oh no, a 4. A weight 4. Maybe that's Aaron. I don't really know the conversions to numbers. Whatever stuff. Here's the bag. So I made it the same exact way as my other bag. What I did is I made granny squares, 14 of them. 13 of them. 13 granny squares. And this is a color changing yarn, so it's like color blocks. It's a color blocking yarn. So I didn't know how it was necessarily going to work up in granny squares. I knew I just wanted to like crochet and go and see what happened. And I mostly just got single color squares, except every color change I would get a square like this. And so there's like 3 of those types of squares in here. Like here's one right here where there's just a little bit on the edge. And those are my favorite squares. I do wish I would have been able to find a yarn that was a little more like color changing, like a quicker color change, so that I could have a little more variation, but it was fine. And so, yeah, I made 13 squares. I put them together in the shape of a bag, and then I did slip stitch joining, which looks like that. And this is exactly just what I did with my last bag. And then I just did the slip stitch joining with the yarn continued. And it ended up being the same color for all the slip stitches. And then I started the handle, and the handle changed color down here. So it goes from a, like you can see this, it goes from like a blue to a teal. So the handle I did the same as well. I used what I think is a Tunisian crochet technique, and I will link to the video that I used. Actually, I didn't use the video this time. I just remembered it because I'm cool. So I made this for my mom. I haven't lined it yet. I lined my last bag, and I'm going to line this one too. And that's the end of the story. After I line it, I will send it to my mom. I haven't told her I made it yet because I wanted it to be a surprise, but I don't know if she's going to watch this. So if she does and you haven't gotten it yet, here's your surprise. And I might also send you the yarn because I don't want to work with it anymore. So I feel kind of bad just adding to somebody else's stash. But I don't know, maybe she will make something cool out of it. I don't know. So my mom also is pretty into crochet right now. So, okay, my next finished object, this is crazy, right? I have a lot of finished objects. I was sent some free yarn. What? By a company called BlingBling Yarn, and I will link to them down below. And they just sent me like a little pack of this like glow-in-the-dark yarn. It's all acrylic, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's acrylic. And it's all like I think like a sport-ish weight. And it's glow-in-the-dark, and some of it's reflective. And so I chose 2 of these little skeins. They're like, I think like 25-gram little skeins. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. But I made some amigurumi with them. So here they are. It's a bunny. And then this is the rainbow one. They sent a few different colors, a rainbow, a few different whites, and then like a blue and a pink or something like that. And I used the rainbow and the white. So I made a bunny for my daughter, Lucy. And I made a snake. Yes. For my son, River. And they're great. I love them. The yarn was fine. It was pretty, like, I don't know. It was like glow-in-the-dark kind of novelty acrylic yarn. It was totally fine to work with. I don't remember what crochet hook I used. I think what I did is I just looked up. No, it was like a DK. I looked up like DK weight amigurumi patterns and then just used whatever hook size that called for. But I think this yarn is about a DK. So I used a Craftsy class for this. I'm on like a free year-long trial or something like that. It's crazy. I'm not a member of Craftsy right now. But I did use one of their videos, which I had up a second ago, but now it's gone. It's called Amigurumi for Beginners by Paula Cazorla. And in that class, she makes this bunny and like a different bunny or something like that. So I did this little bunny. It was super duper easy and super duper quick. I have a bunch of safety eyes now after my last doll experience. It's got little ears, little nose. It's just a little tube and you make it a bunny. And it glows in the dark. And then the snake, I used a blog pattern, like a free pattern on someone's blog for the head. And then I kind of started to follow it for the body, but then I just did my own thing because that is the body and it doesn't take much. And the tail I improvised because I didn't really like her tail instructions. So it's I will link this, but it's Umbaka Design Crochet, that's the website. And it's Rainbow Snake Crochet Pattern is the post. And so I used her instructions for the head. And it's like this kind of diamond shaped, right, thing. And then I just alternated back and forth between the rainbow and white. And then for the tail, she has you decrease a lot faster than I did. And so I didn't do it like in a very intentional way. I kind of just decreased like every, I don't know, inch maybe for like a little while. And that's a snake. And I used the same crochet hook because I used the same yarn. And then I did a tongue. There's his tongue. And for that, I did do what she says in the pattern in the blog post. I think I just like picked up a couple stitches and what do you call it? I chained and then I single crocheted or slip stitched back just a single time and then sewed it on or something like that. So that's my snake. So I have one more finished object, right? And it's not here with me because I gave it away as a gift. But I went camping last weekend with some friends and I crocheted a koozie, like a can koozie. So you know how there's cans of beverages? Oh, I found my chapstick. I've been missing this. So there's skinny cans, right? Like, in my case, it's for like, hard seltzers. I bought a box of the Topo Chico hard seltzers and, decided to crochet a koozie for them. And I wanted to make two because it's almost my friend's birthday and he, kind of threw this camping trip. And so I made one. I cast it on the night before the camping trip, and then I finished it on the way there in the car, and I gave it to him when I got there. And then I cast on another one for myself, and I figured I would make it while I was camping, and then I never finished it. But we shared his. It was great. I have a picture of it. I was about to show you on my phone, but I'm just going to put it, it's up here somewhere. And this is a picture of it like when I just cast it. No, I was still working on it. We stopped for lunch on the way out to the campsite, me and my husband, and I was working on it there. But it's almost done in this picture. So it's made out of this last precious piece of Jinx yarns, which is one of like 2 Jinx yarn skeins I ever owned, and it's the first one that I bought. And Jinx yarns was hand-dyed yarn company, dyed by Laura a pretty long time ago, and she doesn't dye anymore. But she was one of like my intro indie dyers. Like she was to me one of the original indie dyers that dyed yarn at home and sold these beautiful colorways that I became obsessed with. And so this is a DK weight. Actually, I think it might be a worsted. I don't remember, and I don't know. But here it is. It's called the Cat Bus, which is a Totoro colorway. And I made originally a long time ago fingerless mitts with this yarn. Those were my favorite things to wear for a while, and then I gave them to my sister because she liked them. And now this is all I have left. And now my friend Jeremy has a koozie out of it, and I will too. So I improvised this, and I'm very happy with how it came out. What I did is I did a magic ring first, and that creates 6 chains. And then I did increases in all of those 6 chains for the first round. And then that made 12. And then from there I did like And I did single crochets. This is all single crochet. And then I did like crochet 2 single crochets and then increase in the next stitch. And then the next round was crochet 3 single crochets and then increase in the next stitch. And that gets you like a flat circle rather than like a bowl, which you can do in a different kind of increase style. But doing it that way gets you a flat circle. And so that's for the bottom. And then once I got, I think the last round I did was crochet 3, increase 1. And then I just started single crocheting into every stitch. And then if you stop increasing, it just, you crochet up and it becomes a tube. And I did that until the whole thing was 9 inches, I think, or maybe 8 inches. I think 8 inches. And then that fit one of those cans perfectly. And then that's it. I didn't do any like finishing or anything. I wove in the ends and I trimmed them. And then that was it. It was done. But this is the one that I'm still working on for myself. See, those are all my FOs / intro into my whips. Still here? Thanks. Thank you. I feel like this is boring. Are you bored? I hope not, because I got more stuff. Let me take a drink of water. Okay, as for whips, I am going to tell you about these granny squares first. So I'm pretty into granny squares right now, but I am not cohesive enough to like come up with a new project. There's thousands. There are so many projects for granny squares that are out there that I want to do, but I'm just not together or with it enough with like my yarn, blah, 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 planning, that like I can't get like a specific project together yet. I have a list. I have so many things I want to make, but nothing that quite matches what I have and can work with yet. So what I did is I spun some fiber on my spinning wheel, and it was a bag of Sweet Georgia Fibers, bamboo and merino yarns. I think it was bamboo, merino, and nylon. And they're sold in a bag with like a bunch of similar colorways, like little teeny like 1/2 ounce bumps. I forgot to turn my notifications off, and that was Knitpicks texting me to tell me about a sale. Okay, so yeah, it's like one of these little and I have had this for years. This is deep fiber stash. I never really liked it. I'm not a huge bamboo fan. I'm not a huge bamboo fan. So I never really spun it. I kind of spun a little bit of it, but not a lot. And so I took the remaining fiber that I had and I just mixed it all, like all the colors together. They were kind of a similar-ish color story. And I made a little like half skein of handspun, and I just crocheted that all into granny squares. I feel like I should be telling you more hook sizes, but I feel like at this point, you might just have to know that I never record my hook sizes for some reason. So I didn't tell you my hook size for my koozie. And I don't remember what it was, which is cool because I don't have a hook in my bag and I have to finish this. I'll figure that out. So. Yeah, I'm bad at, I need to get better at that is the point. So I don't know what I used for these. And this is like, I would say this is like a DK weight. I think I crocheted these granny squares as if they were DK. So this one's cool. This one's pretty like Halloween-esque. I feel like the colors are so jewel toned you can't even see them. But there's greens and oranges and purples. And then this one this was like the end of plying, and there was like a little bit of white fiber left on my bobbin from a different spin, and I just put that in it. And so that's what that is. And here's this one. Oh, this one might be my favorite. This is definitely the darkest one. Purples and deep browns and oranges. And then this one, this is how far I got on the last square before I ran out of yarn. And so it's just like a little half finished square. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 squares. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I will probably crochet some other random squares, hopefully out of the same gauge-ish, and figure out something to do with them. I don't know. Maybe a top, maybe what do you call those things? Bandana? I don't wear bandanas though. My hair doesn't do bandanas. I have very thin, stringy hair, and it doesn't really do bandanas. Yeah, so I had fun making those, and I will see what they become. I don't know. I don't know what they will become. I did buy a new toy. This is a granny square blocking board. It's wood, and it's like a pegboard, and it comes with these dowels, and that way you can block your granny squares perfectly. I love it. This is my favorite toy that I've gotten in a long time. You do that, and then you can do a whole bunch. I did block these squares, even though they say that acrylic doesn't block or like change after blocking. I don't care, I still blocked them. And I feel like it did. Like it didn't change significantly, but I feel like it still kind of flattened them out and made them neater. So I'm a hardcore blocker. I block everything. I don't even care. I block everything. So, and now I have a new blocking tool, and it's very fun. I really enjoy it. And you can like change them around for different sizes squares. They come out. Not right now, but they come out. Okay, now I have a sock. I cast on another pair of socks after I finished my last pair of socks. And this is out of some Desert Vista Dyeworks. It's self-striping yarn. Here's the tag. This is very old yarn. I actually know this is 5 years old, because 5 years ago was one of the last times I went to Stitches West. I went 5 years ago, and then I went 4 years ago. I went the very last Stitches before the pandemic, which was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, like a week before I knew that anything was going on. So it's a little scary. But anyway, that's besides the point. I went to Stitches when Lucy was 1. And when I came home, this yarn arrived in the mail. And it's this yarn, and it's... Sorry, that doesn't help. So it's Desert Vista Dyeworks. And it's in the colorway I Love Lucy. And you know why? It's the Viso base. It's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon sock yarn. So Desert Vista Dyeworks, they might still do this. I have no idea. But at least back then, they had a Ravelry group. And every month, they had a contest, and they would throw out a prompt, and you would enter photographic entries based on the prompt. And if they picked yours, they would dye a colorway based off of the picture, the colors in the picture. And so 1 month, 5 years ago, the prompt was TV shows. And I don't know if you know me or not, but I love TV shows. I'm a big TV show fan. So I went with I Love Lucy. Classic, right? Classic TV show. So I put up a really like cool image of I Love Lucy, and yes, it was in black and white, but there are color images of the I Love Lucy story. So I put one up, and I won! And so I won the skein of yarn. She picked I Love Lucy, and so she dyed the skein of yarn, or she dyed this colorway after that image that I put up. Maybe I'll be able to find the image. I might put it up if I can find it. But this is it. And it's been sitting in my stash for that long, and I finally decided to knit it up. Definitely not my typical color aesthetic. It's a little patriotic for me. It's a little stars and stripes. But yeah, it's like a red and a lavender and a baby blue and a white. And I'm doing the same thing with these socks that I did with my last socks. 64 stitch cast on. And I do a twisted German cast on. For the cast on, and 2x2 rib, and then I decreased at this little kitty cat stitch marker, and that's backwards. There's the kitty cat stitch marker, and then I decreased again like here-ish, and then heel flap and gusset, and this was the gusset that made me just think about how much I love gussets. And now I'm here. I'm halfway down the foot. I'm using size 1 needles, US size 1, which is I don't know what millimeter it is. I want to be a cool millimeter person, but I was raised American. It's not ingrained in me. And these are my Chiagu Twist interchangeable needles. And they're great. I love them. This is my first sock So it's doing its thing, being a sock that I can knit on. Sometimes. Oh, it came with a contrasting color for heels and stuff, and I forgot to use it, so there's that. I don't know, that will end up somewhere else someday in some other project maybe. Then, moving right along, I'm still working on my Bifurca Vest. So I was working on this last time. This is a pattern by Teddy Liskak. I forgot to look up her last name, I'm sorry. It's something like that, but it will be on the screen. This is a top-down vest, Colorwork vest pattern. It's got a super cool and interesting construction, and this is where I'm at. So it's a deep V, and it's the same on the front and the back. So the idea is it goes like this, and then I have all this over here, and so that's kind of the vibe. And then you knit colorwork down, and then I think you pick up, and then I think you knit straight down for the body, and then you pick up sides. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm on the colorwork. And the yarn I'm using is BC Garn. Here's the cakes. Samilla Pura. 100% organic wool. This is color number 2. This is like this is undyed, and this is the same yarn, but it's in their like dyed line, which is Semolina Melange, and this is the color 12 is my contrasting color. And this yarn is made in Turkey. Here's my swatch. I didn't show you this last time. But I like to do these little baby swatches because I kind of care, but I don't care enough to do like a giant proper swatch. And I bought 2 of these and 1 of the contrast color. And this is coming along wonderfully. Here's the front. This is going to be right like at the chest, like at the bottom of the V. And there's my crystal stitch marker or progress keeper from Chevy Rail Stuff YouTube channel, who is delightfully wonderful, and I love her very much. So yeah, it's like a floral pattern, and I really like it. I really like the colors. I kind of went with colors that I felt like emulated the sample like pattern thing on the picture. So I'm a little more than halfway done with the colorwork section, and then I'll be doing some, I think, stockinette and like construction-y things, and I'm very looking forward to, I don't know, continuing working on this because I enjoy it. It's definitely a concentrate-y sort of knit, so I pick it up and I put it down, and I don't work on it every single day or night or anything. It's a US 2.5, which is a 3mm, and these are my high sharps. This did not come with my interchangeable set. I had to buy these tips separately because apparently a 3mm is not a typical American size of needle. But luckily, I could just buy the tips by themselves, and that was wonderful, and I got gauged, and it's great. The next and last FO. I don't even have that much, and I don't even need to really tell you about it, but I want to, so I'm going to. I started it last night, and I got this far. That's a chain. I have decided to make the Terrestrial like dress from Mermaid Cat Designs. It's a crochet pattern, and I really like it. It calls for Knit Picks Comfy, and I've made one of her other patterns before that called for Knit Picks Comfy, and I just used some merino nylon sock yarn, and I decided with this one I wanted to use the yarn she called for because I think it's going to make a difference. I'm using the yarn she called for is the point of the story. So this is Knit Picks Comfy, which is cotton. Hold on, I know the percentages. It's cotton and acrylic. 75% Pima cotton, 25% acrylic. And it's in the cabin colorway, right? Yes, cabin colorway. And this is really nice. It feels really good. Like it's got acrylic in it, but it does not feel like the Karen cake acrylic. It just feels like cotton. Like it feels like cotton. But it feels like a nice soft cotton, like little drapier maybe than dishcloth cotton. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But this was great because it was on sale at Knit Picks. And I got it for like super duper cheap. And because I had to buy 10 of these are 50 grams, and I had to buy 10 of these to get yardage. And I got it for really, really cheap because it was on sale. I was very happy. So the first step in this pattern is to chain like 100 and something chains. And I don't even know how many I got last night before I just stopped working on it because I got distracted. And so I'm this far along on it, on this dress. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, I'm excited. I don't really know much about it. I'm just, it's a very instruction and like picture heavy pattern. It's like very long. It's a lot of pages. So I don't know. I think that's going to be great. I'm still very new to crochet garments and following instructions and patterns and construction and stuff. So I'm happy for the extra details that this is going to provide. I have a hook here that I can tell you about. It's a 3.5 millimeter. I actually stole this from my granny stripe crochet blanket, which I also have been working on. So I just have to remember that this is the hook that goes with the blanket. I just gotta write stuff down. Why don't I just write this down? I haven't put any of this stuff in Ravelry because I'm lazy. I do like keeping my projects in Ravelry as like a little time capsule journal kind of thing, and for information, but I can't be bothered anymore, I guess. That's it for everything I've been making. I have one more thing to show you because I did some dyeing. I bought a dress. I bought a dress from, what's it called? American Eagle Outfitters. They had this dress that I really liked, but the only color they had left was like a creamy white, and I don't want to wear creamy white. I don't want to wear white or cream. Like cream is better than white to me, but I still don't want to. I tried wearing it like that and I didn't like it. So it was this really cool dress. I will show it to you. It was too long, so I cut it. I started by cutting it. I cut a bunch of length off to make it like knee length rather than like maxi length. And then I dyed it with walnut hulls. Well, kind of. So I wanted to dye it. It's 100% cotton. And I'll show you. It's 100% cotton, so I was going to have to either buy, I have a bunch of dyes from Moonstone Dyeworks, obviously, but they are they're protein reactive dyes, so they work on protein fibers like wool. They don't work on plant fibers like cotton. So I was going to have to buy dye, and I was thinking about just buying like RIT or something, like the kind that you just like dye a single garment with, and that's what it's for. And then I ended up deciding I wanted to try natural dyeing instead. So I did some research. I decided to go with walnuts. I don't have walnuts. I don't have the kinds of walnuts that grow on trees that I could use. But I went to my local herb shop where they sell herbs in bulk. They had dried walnut hull powder, so I got some of that. And I dyed the dress. So here is the dress. It's this. It's very much my style of dress. I like dresses like this. And I dyed it. It's not that much of a difference. Oh, I mean, tone-wise, it's very different. But it still stayed very light. Like, it's still a very light color. I would love it if it was darker. Maybe I'll, like, try re-dyeing it or over-dyeing it at some point. I watched some videos, too, about walnut dyeing. And, I mean, it's natural dyeing. If you don't really... I don't know. It's easy to make natural dyeing a very subtle thing, and so that's what happened here. So yeah, it's kind of it's a more walnutty brown than it used to be. It used to be this cream, this like super bright creamy cream, and now it's like, I don't know, whatever. This is what it looks like. So pretty much what I did is I took the walnut hull powder, maybe like a quarter of a cup of it, and I put it in some water and I simmered it for a couple of hours, and then I strained the walnut hulls out. I did not use any mordants because you don't necessarily need to with walnut because it has tannins in it naturally, which acts as a mordant. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just what YouTube told me. And I also didn't use any modifiers. I considered trying iron, thinking it might get darker, but I also thought it might just get grayer, and I didn't really want gray, I wanted brown. So that's what so I boiled it, I strained out the powder, and then I used that very deep brown bath to dye this, and I just kind of put this in the pot, I stirred it around, and I let it simmer for maybe I don't know, I let it simmer for a little while, like maybe an hour or less. And then I left the dress in the pot until it was completely cool, like later that day or the next day. And then I took it out, I drained it, I rinsed it and drained the water out a few times to kind of get all the excess color out. And then I washed it in the washing machine, just like it's gonna go back into my regular wardrobe where I washed it in the washing machine. And this is how it turned out. It's better than it was before. I was considering maybe trying to over dye it like kind of a reddish color, and maybe I still have I kept some of the dye stock of the walnut, so maybe like add some reddish, like, I don't know, madder or cochineal or something. But I see I don't have this stuff, so I'd have to like place an order and like, so I don't know, it might just stay like this. I've been wearing it like this, and like I said, it's still a little light for my taste, but I like it, I'm enjoying it, and it was a very fun project. And since I had a bunch of dye bath left over, I decided to dye some yarn that I had in my stash that I didn't love the color of. So this is Noro. Oh, I don't have I didn't bring the tag in, but it's a Noro yarn, and I got 5 skeins of this. It's a worsted weight, and it's a single ply with like colors, like different tweed colors all throughout it. It's kind of like primary and secondary colored tweed, which is a little not typically to my taste. I don't know why I chose this yarn, but I did. And the base was like a very light gray, and it was just all too cool and like elementary school feeling for me. So I thought I would try to dye it and make it a little warmer. The tweedy bits didn't change color. Those are still what they are. But the base color is now a little warmer than it was before. So it's still very subtle. It's still very subtle. So this, I kept one little piece of yarn. Just to show you, and like this is not going to give you any kind of idea. It looks exactly the same. So this is what it used to look like. It's just on camera, this lighting, you're not going to be able to tell. But it is a little warmer. So this is the yarn after I dyed it. And I had dyed all 5 skeins. And yeah, it's back in my stash, but now it's a slightly different color. And I liked the experiment. It was fun. It definitely got me excited about dyeing again. I want to keep dyeing yarn. I'm not done with it, but it just hasn't been able to fit into my life that much lately in a way that it would have to actually be able to sell. So, but it did get me excited for that. I've also made me consider, like, what if I do more natural dyeing on yarn to sell and have like a natural dyed line or something. I don't know, but it was fun. It was a fun experiment and learning thing that I did. So that's it. I'm done. That's all my stuff that I wanted to talk to you about. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time talking to you about this stuff, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you so much. If you liked the video, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel. That would be lovely if you wanted to. If not, that's okay too. Okay. I love you. Have a good day. I will see you next video. Bye.